Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, whatever part of the world you are tuned in from. This is Funny Like a Clown Podcast. I'm your host, Dennis Wirth, August 17th, 2021, the year of the pandemic we're just getting over. Episode 122. As always, today's episode is brought to you by G Vegas Buffalo Sauce for the spicy, sweet, savory taste of game time. There's only one G Vegas available at www.gvegas.webs.com. And hey, I don't know, is the pandemic over? Are we just getting started again? Nobody knows what the hell's going on. I'll tell you what I do know, and that's comedy. And the reason I got into comedy was a guy named Sam Kennison. And a lot of people love Sam. And there's about 4 or 5 nuts who absolutely flipped out over his stuff. And we're in a class of our own. On the phone, I got one of those guys, Rob Stibal. Welcome to the show.
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I mean, I know you're a big Sam Kennison fan like me. We've crossed paths a few times in the old internet world, but what made you become such a big fan of Sam?
Just something resonated with his humor in high school, man. Me and a couple of friends, we just keep quoting his stuff all the time, and just it shocked me when he died. Like I was totally like blown away because I was totally getting into his stuff, and a couple of years later, I was going online and I'm trying to find more information about Sam and couldn't find anything. So I made the website.
Yeah, it was like Howard Stern said. It was like with the lifestyle he led, you kind of expected it, but you didn't expect it. You expected it, but you were shocked when you heard the news that he had passed.
Oh yeah, exactly. But then it was kind of it was like great, just when he quote unquote cleans up and
gets his life together.
Straightened up. Yeah. Some asshole hits him. It's a drunk driver,
I know, but wasn't that the ironic thing? All the jokes he did about drunk driving, that he was killed by a drunk driver. I mean,
yeah, it's wild. You go back and you listen to it now, and it's like, oh,
it's almost like a message from beyond or something. Like don't fuck with the paranormal, man. Well, it'll come back to haunt you or something. I don't know.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right, so I guess, I mean, in the comedy world, you'd be known best for creating Kennison.com, which was Sam Kennison's website back in the day. How'd that go about that you started that?
I was working for an internet company doing dial-up tech support, and I was just kind of messing around with doing websites for fun, and got the domain. It was available. And just decided I'd just put something together and see what would happen, and it got a lot of response, like a lot of hits. I met a lot of people through it. I met Bill Kennison, met Screaming Sam, met you, met Autumn, Hope, Sabrina, Malika, Rodney posted on my wall once.
Really?
Yeah.
What did he post?
Yeah, that was. And it's like there was no way to really verify it was really him. It's not like we had Facebook or anything back then, but I'm 99% sure it was him.
Well, what was the post that he posted? What did he have to say?
It was something along the lines of like Sam was greatly missed. He was one of a kind. It was a really short thing that he put on there, but it was sweet.
It was just a paid tribute to him. Okay.
Yeah.
So now, how did you learn how to build websites? I mean, was this your work you do? Did you go to school for it, or?
No, I just kind of picked it up on my own.
Really?
Started off with like some by today's standards, kind of crappy tools,
right.
And just started kind of writing, HTML. I did like one-page websites for local businesses, and then I was doing the Sam Kennison site on the side just for fun. And really, the Kennison site is what got me a job that I was at for like 13 years, working on cruise line websites. And they had told me in the interview, they were like, yeah, the Sam Kennison website, we saw that, we wanted you.
So, hey, a hobby inspired you to get some paid work. That's cool.
Exactly, right. It's just, and then all the paying work and stuff kind of like pulled me away from working on Kennison.com. So it's kind of outdated.
Right. Well, we mentioned
it hasn't been updated in like 10 years.
Yeah, you mentioned Screaming Sam, which back in the day put it on. He had a Sam Kennison birthday special. I remember it was me, you, Bill, Pauly Shore called in.
Yeah.
Well, right. Bill actually said that the thing that he liked, if you go to the website that you created, it looks professional, and Bill was really impressed with the job you did.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, he got his endorsement that day. But when you first started this website, like Bill, he didn't even know you were doing it, right?
No, he had no idea. Like people were asking me too. Do you think they're gonna try and take the name because it was Kennison.com?
Right.
Like when I registered it, I didn't know how to do all that stuff myself, and it was like, I don't know, you can register domain names for like $10 a piece now, but back then it was like $200, so you had to be sure you wanted it.
Right.
But it was a lot easier to find a short domain name, and I was like, no, I want it because it's a short name. I don't want samkennison.com. I want Kennison.com. People remember that. And people were like, are you afraid the family's going to try and take it from you, I was like, no, I'll just get in good with them,
So when was it that you first heard him? And was that the first time you heard Bill that approved of the site, or had you talked to him before that?
He had sent me a couple messages, and then there was this one time I was out in LA. Hope, right? Hope Frederick?
Hope Frederick. That one don't ring a bell. I don't know why.
Yeah, she was one of like his entourage, hanging out with Sabrina, Malika, and all them.
Yeah.
She was actually on. She was one of the models on the cover of the Leader of the Band cover. I think you have to fold it out to see where
the
she's
Last Supper setting there.
Yeah, the Last Supper picture. Yeah. So I'd made a trip out to LA to go see her. She had some tickets for me to go see Kiss on one of their tours, but something fell through. And I wasn't able to catch up with her and get the tickets. But I don't even know how this happened because I didn't even have a cell phone or anything. But got a hold of Bill, or Bill got a hold of me. I guess he found me in my hotel room and gave me directions to his eatery and spirits that he had over there by the Grove. And so he invited me over there, checked it all out. It was kind of like a little hard rock cafe for Sam. They had a beret on the wall, a coat. Celebrities had signed their names on the walls. There were pictures.
I heard they did karaoke there a lot. That was because Sherry, his wife, sang a lot.
Oh yeah. I was actually there. It looked like I got there just after closing too. So it was like just me and my ex at the time, girlfriend or whatever.
Oh, so you got like a one-on-one meeting, yeah.
Yeah, so it was like one-on-one. He even gave me dinner on the house, a T-shirt, which I was going to show you at the video.
Now we got to miss out on the T-shirt. Great.
This is in my closet.
Well, you can send me a picture of it or something. But I heard, do you know Nate Thomas? He's the other Sam Kennison nut like us up in Alaska.
No.
No, yeah, he's another nut like me and him met on eBay. We were out bidding each other on all Sam Kennison memorabilia. That's how we met. We've been on one freaking crazy Sam Kennison adventure after another since I met him. But
oh wow,
he owns like half of Sam Kennison shit. Like anything you see, he's got the Freedom jacket from Saturday Night Live. Like a bunch of Sam's guitars. Yeah, he's bought like off of Richard Kennison, Sam's brother. He bought just a bunch of old jackets on all his Rodney Dangerfield special. But this is the guy who owns now. If Bill don't own it, then Nate probably does. But
oh yeah,
nice. He told me he went to that bar and he said like, if you go to the Hard Rock Cafe, stuff's behind like a glass door. He said there it was just kind of hanging out, like anybody could have grabbed it and ran.
Right, exactly. It was just kind of dangling there.
Really?
I was actually kind of shocked. It was just like, they were just like hanging on the wall.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll find some pictures and I'll send you some stuff. I
got
somewhere.
definitely.
And of course, I have to scan them, I'm sure, because they were on regular 35 millimeter.
Way back when, right?
A long time ago. It was like in '98, I think, when that was going on.
I mean, I met Bill too. I slept over at his house, luckily, and next day he pulled out all Sam's old guitars and all his coats, and I was like, it was like visiting Graceland, and I got to touch everything. I got pictures and just stuff you wouldn't believe. But I mean, what was your impression of meeting Bill? What'd you think of him?
I thought he was a great guy. It was funny. It was on Halloween too, and we had it was a lot of fun. We had some good laughs and stuff. That we had he had a sit down. There were a lot of people that were saying some negative things about him on the Kennison page.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that. Yeah.
He was just asking if I can like moderate some of that stuff. So I was like, yeah, no problem. I'll take care of that. So he was showing me around at his restaurant. Why not?
Yeah, he's really down to earth. I expected him to be
a really cool guy.
Yeah.
He took us over to the Grove. There was nobody there. It was closed at the time.
Yeah.
Opened it up. He sat on the stage. I just sat in the chairs. He was just telling stories. Like it was just.
Those are the best times right there, right? You're like a kid listening, right?
Yeah, it was just just all these stories about this, all kinds of stuff. Probably for like 2 hours, and we just talked and I just listened,
Oh.
And it's nothing I ever posted or even really told anybody about because it was just like personal kind of just experience,
Yeah. Huh. He was like, but yeah, I mean, you meet these celebrities. I booked Jimmy Walker from Good Times once, and looking back, I made an ass out of myself. I was so starstruck. I was falling around like a little kid. Yeah, Jimmy. I'm like, I said, next time I meet somebody famous, I ain't getting starstruck. I'm acting normal. So
Yeah.
but
I know I get like that too. I was like that with Weird Al Yankovic, man.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
I just turned into an idiot, man. I'm like,
Yeah.
you know.
But I guess this is a given. But I mean, you're a big Sam Kennison fan. Do you got a favorite routine of his? Which one's your favorite routine he did?
Oh man, World Hunger, man. That's just like
That's the one that broke him. Yeah, tough to argue with that one, right?
yeah, the world, and you know, one of my other favorite ones too is when Jesus is up on the cross. Everybody's down there crying. No, you shouldn't have to die, and he's like, I wouldn't have to if somebody had a ladder and a pair of pliers.
Some of his concepts are off the wall. Yeah, I love the one he did where the devil gets pissed off if you've been married because it bores him. I'm just like, just the concept of that.
It's like, oh, you want a job here?
It's like everybody's supposed to fear going to hell, and I ain't afraid to go to hell. I was married. I mean, how do you come up with something like that? All right,
no, yeah,
but
it's such good stuff, you know, and. Like I've digitized a lot of stuff. I was planning on putting stuff up on the website. I mean, you know, the version of the site that's up there right now has video clips that are optimized for 56K and dial-up and DSL. So it gives you an idea how long ago those were made.
Right.
So I got to redigitize these things, get some higher quality ones up there. I had Are You Lonesome Tonight up there for a while too. I had a video and an audio of it.
On the Tonight Show, right? Johnny Carson, he did that, yeah.
Yeah, he did it on Carson, and then there was a studio recording he actually did. I taped it off of the radio show Ron and Ron back in the day, yeah. And I think it was Carl Above that gave him the tape, and they played the song, and I recorded it, then I put it up on the site. I actually got a letter from the Presley estate to take it down.
Really? They weren't happy about that, huh?
Yeah, I got cease and desist to take that.
Yeah, everything's monitored on the internet. You can't do nothing nowadays. So now they got it. You can post it, but they get all. If it makes any money, they get the money, not you, which is better than.
So I do have clips on YouTube right now that are getting hits, but I don't have it monetized or anything. Really? It's just so you can watch my clips without getting an annoying video in the middle of it.
That always counts, right? So you said Carl Above gave that to you?
Not to me, but he was on the radio show when it aired, and I just taped it.
Oh, okay. So did you ever get to meet Carl or no?
No, I never did. I wanted to though, but we did chat a couple times, like through Twitter. There was something a while back he posted, and I responded, and we had a little back and forth. Yeah. But I never did get a chance to meet him.
Another great guy recently passed away. God bless. I said, world lost a great comedian. They lost a better man. I flew up to Alaska with Nate, and I got to open for him because I do stand-up comedy too. And that was like, if it can't open for Sam, Carl was the next best thing. I was like a kid in a candy store. So great times.
And it's like I always think of his bit from the band video. You know, he would like open Kennison's show up with that where. He comes out, you don't even know who he is, but he was just so freaking funny. Like, it was the first time I'd ever seen any of his comedy.
Sam caught a lot of breaks, too. I mean, when you bought his video, I mean, how many people would give, like, what was it, 10 or 15 minutes to Carl before his video started? Not many people would do that, a big star. Yeah, that's really...
No, yeah, like, that was, like, unheard of. You know, and I was, like, sitting there with some friends. I was showing the video. I'm like, dude, just sit here and you got to see this guy. This is funny stuff, you know? Like, this is worthy of a Kennison opener.
Well, they said back in Houston, Carl was actually funnier than Sam when they got started. Sam ended up getting the bigger break, and he went on to bigger things. But when they first started, they said Carl was the funnier of the two, from what I've heard. But so eventually, I mean, Bill opened up his own website, samkennison.org, which I mean, kind of, I guess that could have stole some of the thunders from yours. I mean, was that part of the reason why you stopped, or was it just you were too busy?
No, it wasn't anything like that. And Bill did, if I can recall, I know Bill did tell me about it, that he was putting up the site. There was no competition or anything like that.
Right.
And I know, and there were people that were sending me messages saying that Bill put up a site. There was, I'll let you know he put it up there, and I'm like, well, I'm not really worried. He doesn't have the videos I have, so.
Right.
I was like, I had stuff he didn't have. He had stuff I didn't have. I was like, they can just kind of work together.
I think he put a link to yours too, didn't he? Or you put a link to his, or you could link each other, right?
Yeah, we did. We linked them back and forth.
Yeah, so that was
like
cool.
It was a mutual thing. There was no real. I didn't want to have any kind of competition.
Right. Yeah, we weren't. Right.
I don't know if anybody can sue for it, but it was his last name.com.
Yeah, you got more respect for the guy than get into a battle with him, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like I respected Sam's career, I respected him, and it's what it is.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. One of my favorite things I remember, I mean, when you were monitoring the site regularly and it was going good, you had a thing called forums where the
Oh
the
yeah.
fans could go in and they could talk on the forums. What are some of your favorite memories of that just the fans posted?
Oh, the best part was the bitch from hell, or the demon from hell, whatever I called it. It was I was inspired to do that from an ex-girlfriend I had that was just a nightmare, and I had to talk about it. So I was like, you know what, this is the perfect place to spew this
Right.
out on my website. So I added a little section on there where people can talk about that girl that broke your heart. I don't care if it was last week or third grade, you know?
What were some of
Someone
the
broke
better
your heart.
posts
What
you
was their name?
remember?
What's that?
What are some of the better posts you remember that people posted in there?
Oh my god. There were so many wild ones I just couldn't even like
Became a
believe that some
blur
of them
after
were
a
real.
while.
Yeah, I can't even remember, but you know what? I do have all these archived somewhere. I should pull them up and put them up on the website. You know, put like an archive
Right, right.
classics section on there because some of the stuff is just too good. I know some of them I wrote anonymously too, based on girlfriends and ex-girlfriends and stuff.
We've all had one. You, me, nobody likes to lose. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Everybody can relate. I mean, it was a relatable thing. All right, but
I mean, it was the most popular part of that. I'm gonna have to, put that back up. I
really?
gotta do it. I gotta just put the time aside and put together a new Kennison.com, put it up there, and it's tough to compete with social networking these days.
Right.
Because anybody can just put together a Facebook
page or something. It's a different day and age. Yeah.
There's a lot of upkeep with a website and maintenance, and you got to pay for it and stuff. But there's no advertising if you don't want it. So
yeah, so that helps. Yeah.
You have control over it. So. But yeah, I mean, I got plenty of material that I have scanned over the years, pictures and videos and stuff. My friend Autumn, who is like probably the biggest Sam Kennison fan I know, I sent her a care package one year, surprise for Christmas, and I packed up a whole bunch of Sam Kennison stuff that I had.
Yeah.
Like no other reason that I knew that she could appreciate it more than it just sitting in a box somewhere.
Right, that's what me and Nate do. Yeah, we send each other packages each year. We never know what we're gonna get from each other. But
yeah, so I was like,
yeah.
I didn't even tell her. I was like, yeah, give me your address. Send you a Christmas card, And next thing you know, she's got this, priority box, filled to the weight limit,
right.
jam packed with goodies. So.
Well, it's funny. Me and Nate started out hating each other on eBay because we were just costing each other money. We were like $300-400 above what anybody else was bidding. I'm like, who's this prick in Alaska? He's like, who's this prick in Mass? And it's like, finally we ended up, we always appreciated each other though. Yeah. I think I bought one thing once. It was like worth $50. I paid like an extra $300. I'm like, I'm going to pay $50 for the item and another $300 just to piss this guy in Alaska off. And it was kind of like that battle. But when we finally did meet, we turned into brothers because we both had such a love for Sam.
Oh yeah.
But I know you're from Florida, right?
Yeah.
Now I know Screaming Sam.
Still live here.
Yeah, he was down there too. Did you ever get to meet Screaming Sam in person or no?
No. There was one time that he was coming down to Miami or something like that, and I think we had mentioned we would meet up, but something came up.
Okay.
I've been so I get so busy. I have a 3-year-old. I got a daughter.
That'll keep you busy. I raised a kid.
High school, so it's
say no more. I get it. Yeah, but no. But I mean, I think he was in the Tampa area, right?
Yeah. He was living in Tampa. Yeah.
Okay, so you're down by the Miami area, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like closer to Miami. I'm West Palm. I'm like between. I'm in Boynton Beach. It's like north of Boca.
Because that was our plan, me and Nate. Because we've been to Vegas a few times together, and Alaska. I mentioned Massey comes out, but we were going to take a trip down to Florida because Screaming Sam was there. You were there. I was going to try to get the 4 of us together. I said if I could get Sam's 4 biggest fans together in the same place, do a podcast. But then Screaming Sam, he got moving to Ohio, so he's not down.
That'd be wild, man.
Yeah, but he did. He said Screaming Sam said he'd meet us down in Florida sometime, so maybe we can set it up after this damn pandemic gets done.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
But yeah, we should all get together and hang out for sure.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan, man. I like that.
All right. Now I'm from Boston. Okay, up here in Boston, we talk about anything. Nobody gets offended. So I'm not trying to be offensive. I talk about anything, but I know. I remember watching on the forums here. Some guy went in there and he said, I'm a friend of the guy who killed Sam's, and you guys could get your shit together. You talk so much shit about him. He wasn't drunk at the time of the accident. His kid went off. And I remember Bill went in there. Bill was like offended as shit. They got into a big argument, and a couple of days later, it was gone. Now, did you delete that, or what do you remember about that?
Yeah, that may have been one of them that I did delete because it might have been something I was talking about with Bill.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought, I was like, wow, this really ain't the place to be talking. You know, you're gonna say it, but this ain't the place. I mean,
yeah, and the thing is, it's like as rough as that was back then to hear that, people have a lot bigger balls now,
right.
and bigger forums and stuff, and the audience that people saw that kind of talk about Sam was a lot smaller than like what happens now on Facebook with
yeah, right. Now it's all kinds of talk. But did you deal with a lot of bullshit like that running the site though, or was it mostly a positive thing?
It was mostly a positive thing. There was a period of time where I had to clean out a lot of spam. There was just like a lot of Russian bots dropping like ads and stuff like that. And then I think that's why I ended up closing down the forum, because it was just getting a little out of control to try to maintain that while I wasn't really working on the site, and I was just trying to.
Well, Sam had rough fans too, so if you're gonna get some rough responses, it would have been his fans that would have gave it to you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so now I know, like I said, we collect stuff. Me and Nate, the big thing, we try to track down like the Trans Am he died in, whatever happened to that. I know a lot of people try to track that down and stuff, but I remember another one. I think the coroner, when Sam died, actually took Sam's socks and he cut off some of his hair, and he ended up selling that to him. Do you remember that on the forums?
Yeah. I remember that. Somebody had the link for it too. I remember seeing that link.
And then Bill went on and said Sam was wearing flip flops, not shoes and socks. So, what do you remember about that argument? Anything?
I think they ended up just pulling the listing, but it was also in a time where eBay wasn't really, doing a whole lot with that. I mean, around that time, we basically listed one of our web developers on at the job I worked at.
Yeah. I sold a lot of stuff on eBay too. So then they cracked down. You couldn't sell nothing anymore.
Yeah, I mean, we listed her as a Russian web developer, blah blah blah, and all this stuff. Next thing you know, boom, thousands of dollars were coming in. It's like, whoa, wait, this was a joke.
Right.
We're not actually selling a human being,
I remember when Britney Spears, when she shaved her head in that salon, the lady took her hair and tried to sell it on eBay, but they ended up pulling that down. So yeah, it got kind of strange.
I know, the stuff people buy these days is just crazy.
Yeah, people spend money on anything. But I mean, as a Sam Kennison fan, what would you like to see done to remember him now? I mean,
I'd like to see like a good movie, because that's how people really remember a lot of these celebrities and stuff. Like I like how. I don't know what people thought of Bohemian Rhapsody. I thought it was okay, but at least it renewed some interest in Queen again.
Well, I talked about it with Nate on my podcast. Like Motley Crue did The Dirt, and that was on Netflix.
Yeah.
I thought that'd be perfect, something like that for Sam.
Yeah, something like that. Maybe like kind of half serious, half funny.
Right.
Like that movie didn't take itself too seriously. So.
But
it was all they covered all the legendary things that you heard about Motley Crue. They put it all in one movie.
Yeah, right. Well, I talked to Bill Howard Stern about a 10-year window to the movie, and he never made the movie about Sam. Which Howard Stern's a busy guy. He had so much going on, you can't really fault him for it. But
even that's one thing I do remember when I was at Kennison's Eatery back in '98, is that he was saying that the movie was going to be moving forward, and at the time, the director of Pet Detective, Ace Ventura, was going to be doing it. Tom Shadyac.
Yeah.
And it was going to be Woody Harrelson as Sam.
Really?
Which is
I heard Dan Folger. Then I heard
I saw the clip of Dan. Yeah.
Dan. Then gosh, I can't think the other guy. They had another guy who was going to do it. And, I guess Malika was suing or something, or they got all kinds of lawsuits. I can't keep up.
Yeah, I think it's because it's like that's not the real story, So it's like, who do you get the story from?
Yeah, I know. Who do you want to believe, right? But I mean, I heard that Bill did tell me now it's on HBO's desk. I get they got the choice if they want to move on or not. They're not, because remember Man on the Moon with Jim Carrey. Yeah. That wasn't a big success. So they said, hey, there's not a lot of money in making movies about dead comedians, and that's kind of what killed the movie about Sam. But I would love to see a movie about Sam, and I'd love to be an extra in it. But
if they can do something like Man on the Moon, but Sam, that'd be great.
Yeah, no, but they don't make movies like us because they're fans. They make movies because they want to make money. If there's no money, they're not gonna make it.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's no money involved.
That was the thing. It's like like people had literally forgotten about Andy Kaufman until that movie, so they were taking a big risk when they made that.
Yeah, I don't think it lost money, but it didn't make the big money. They don't make money. They don't make movies to break even. They want to make some money.
It's got to be a huge blockbuster or a remake or a reboot or some kind of sequel.
Well, I did a little low budget one, just a little short film about him, just because I'm a fan. I think I sent it to you. Did you watch it? I did what?
I don't remember.
From
Was
Preacher
this
to
a while
Prophet, a
back?
Sam Kennison story. It was just like a little 6-minute skit. I did all the high points of his
Oh
life.
no, yeah, I gotta check that out.
Yeah, I'll send it to you again. But I
Okay.
mean, when Sam was alive, did you ever see him live or?
No, I never did.
I never did either.
I regret that. I do regret that.
Yeah, well, you almost think you got time. I was like a little kid. I'm like, oh, I have plenty of time. Nobody knew he
Exactly.
died.
I was like in high school at the time, and I'm thinking, it's like I was still getting carded for shit. Like,
yeah, right. I still got
the
years
only
to
way
see
I
him.
managed to get, I don't even know how I managed to get his CDs without getting carded. They're like places were carding for.
Yeah, it was
like
a different time back then. Yeah.
TMRC, but slapping the labels on everything, so they had to like. I remember going to get like, I had like some Dice CDs and Kennison and Carlin, and I brought them up to the counter and they're like, oh, how old are you? And I'm like, 17. Like, oh, we can't sell these to you. You're 18. Oh, come on,
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I never
Like,
heard of something like that. I know when they put the little
Yeah.
parental advisory sticker on that, it was getting kind of crazy, but that was toward the late 80s.
Yeah, like I actually got carded once for like
So buying an album?
Actually.
Wow, I think, wow, no shit. Shows you what the world's coming to. But well, you mentioned those guys. Some, I mean, who are some of the other comics besides Sam that you really like?
Oh, I love Dennis Leary,
Boston guy.
Yep, George Carlin,
The legend.
The legend. I mean, those three, man, those are my three favorites right there.
I
Like,
mean, is there anybody nowadays like a new young comic you admire? Or?
I mean, Dave Chappelle. I mean, he's not really new, but
yeah, I mean, well, he's the newer crowd. I mean, compared to our generation.
Yeah, newer crowd.
I like Bill Burr. I think he cracks
himself.
You heard Bill Burr stuff?
No,
Bill Burr. Yeah, he's kind of a.
Yeah, I think I've seen his stuff.
Yeah, he's just on the center. He's kind of the dirty guy who's keeping it going in a time where everybody's offended by everything. Bill Burr's saying, "I don't care," and he's making a name for himself doing. That's what I like about him. But
yeah. Oh, Patton Oswalt. He's another one. He's got some pretty good specials.
Yeah. There's a lot of good young comics out there, but I mean,
yeah.
Kennison changed the game though. They wouldn't be doing what they're doing now if it wasn't for him. I mean.
Yeah, but they're not playing stadiums like he did though.
Right. Yeah, a few of them are. Right. You're right about that. Well, you managed Kennison and Dice. I mean, did you like Andrew Dice Clay back in the day, like Kennison, or?
Not at the same level. No, I mean he was funny for what he was, but it was a lot of he was dirty.
Yeah, he was just flat out dirty, and Sam was like he was dirty but witty at the same time. I think there's much wit behind what Dice did.
Yeah.
Now there's this.
And I loved Sam Kennison's like his political stuff because it was from the point of view of somebody who's not really in politics. He just kind of sees what's on what he hears, and then boom, he has his impression of it. And it was always like some kind of like great, like it's like the Scud missile. It's like the smart bomb. It's like the smart missile.
If
but
Kmart had a weapons dealer,
turn on CNN and see where it landed.
Kmart had a weapons dealer, they'd make the Scud missile. You fire it out of the trunk of your car.
Yeah.
All right.
And if McDonald's was a weapons dealer.
That's it. All right. So now, do you remember the big argument back in the day where Kennison accused Dice of stealing some of his material? Do you think that was true or not?
I've never come across any material that I thought was stolen from either one of them.
Well, now Kennison came out with the album and he said it was one of his routines was, how does a man look at another man's hairy ass and find love? And then I think a year or two later, Dice came out with an album and said, oh, you go to the beach. How's a guy to look at another guy's hairy ass and say, I ain't leaving the beach till I get that? No.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's a kind of close, But...
Yeah, I mean, it's the same premise, which, I mean, it happens before you can hit the same premise, but it's so eerily close, I don't know whether to call it the thievery or not.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it would be close enough. The other thing that would be kind of close with his albums is that Dice was starting to put songs on his albums, too.
Yeah, right.
And Sam had Wild Thing.
Yeah, the rock and roll comic, yeah.
Yeah, so Dice was trying to do the same thing.
Well, do you remember seeing them on, what was it, the Arsenio Hall show? They both went on there and attacked each other.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, Sam was doing like this rhyme, a nursery rhyme about how Dice is a real. I got Fonzie's jacket, Stallone's attitude, and Kennison's jokes. Hickory dickory dock. But who was it? Dice went on, and he's like, I grabbed Kennison by the head. I took his hat off. I said, look in the mirror. What do you see? It's Bozo the Clown. He had the hair coming out each side, but they went off on each other.
Oh man.
But I remember Dice said that Somebody accused him of stealing a joke. I remember a radio DJ said, "Yeah, this guy said you stole this guy's joke." He's like, "Oh, no, wrong. I stole it from somebody else." Huh? But he kind of made. He's like, "So what? I invented that." I mean, the stealing of jokes has been going on forever. So I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Who's to say? But I'll give Dice this. I mean, how many comics? I mean, Dice was playing stadiums. I know he's not now. Back then, he had a moment of silence for Sam before one of his comedy shows. Can you believe a comic did that?
That's great.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Yeah,
just
that's awesome. Yeah.
unheard of to do something like that. Yeah,
No, especially because they were, because I think they were rivalries, but it was like kind of it was for show, like I could see the two of them kind of like hanging out afterwards.
Yeah, they were friends back in the day. I think a lot of it was for Hollywood. Yeah.
But I mean, it's like, they were kind of competition because it was like they were trying to sell out shows, faster than the other guy, but at the same time they were still kind of buddies. Now, Bobcat Goldthwait is an ass. Have you seen I saw a clip of him basically saying he was glad Sam Kennison was dead.
Yeah, I saw stuff like that. Well, they were both known as the Screaming Comics, so
he was tired of people confusing him for Sam.
Right, yeah. They kind of looked similar and they both scream, so it was kind of who's the Screaming Comic, but I think Kennison and Dice, Kennison wanted to tour with Dice. He said he can go first, he can go second, but Dice, no, I work alone, Dice said. But I don't think Dice could have followed Sam. Few could have. I mean, he was just
that's a tour that was like when David Lee Roth and Sammy Hagar went on tour together. It's
right.
It's one of those things that's like, okay, well, who opens for who?
That's what you do later in your career when nobody wants to come see you, not when you're at the top of your game, right? I mean, it's like,
yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, you can't do that.
When you're trying to make a comeback, I guess. I don't know, but I mean,
I wonder what Sam would be up to these days. Like, do you think he'd still have his long hair and just be like gray, and he'd still wear his beret?
That's a great question. I mean, what do you think his take would be on today's society?
I don't know. The thing is, it's one of those things that maybe he wasn't meant to be here to see this shit.
Yeah, I mean, his take on it would be wild. But back in the 80s, we could say anything and nobody got offended. Nowadays, you can't say anything and someone's offended. So
somehow he would get canceled. His shows he'd get pulled from whatever specials he was running.
Yeah.
He would say something wrong. I mean, you pull up some of his old shows where he was talking about gays, and everything's just so offensive to people these days.
I've had that argument. It's like, I think context, if you're saying it as a joke, it's meant to be taken as a joke. If you're saying it offensively, it's meant to be taken offensively. It's all, what's your intent, and Sam's intent was never to bash the gays. It was just to make a joke,
Right. And he also came back at another bit basically saying, hey, look, I wasn't informed enough. I didn't know enough about this stuff. So let me give you some medically correct jokes.
Right.
And then still lays on the humor.
Either way, he could look at it. He could make something out of it. But
right.
Just with everybody who's so offended with everything nowadays, I'd love to hear Sam's take on everybody who's offended would just be.
I know, yeah.
Maybe I can do something like that next. But I don't know. I mean, do you have any plans to go forward with the website or like you said, I mean, you can pretty much go to Facebook and find anything or Google it where you couldn't back when you started it, but I mean.
Yeah, I've actually, I've been at a job for about a year now working for a law firm, and I've learned a lot of things that I'm thinking that will apply to the Sam Kennison site that will actually really help. And I got a lot of articles still. I got stuff that I haven't even put up on the site before. I've got a lot of pictures, a lot of the kind of the personal pictures that I got from Hope back in the day. A lot of the behind the scenes stuff that nobody's ever seen before. And then I've got another folder full of stuff that people sent me, tattoos.
Oh yeah.
I never put those up, but I've got pictures of Sam Kennison tattoos that people have done. And I know Bill and Screamin' Sam.
Yeah, they got both the same tattoo. Yeah, matching tattoos. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's still a lot to be seen that we haven't seen yet, right?
Yeah, still a lot. And I might not put a lot of video clips on there. Maybe I'll just find the good stuff on YouTube and just link to it, because why reinvent the wheel, right?
Yeah, right. So. Well, I'll say this: just yesterday or the day before, Rodney Dangerfield's Facebook page, they put out a thing of Sam when he was doing one of Rodney Dangerfield's specials. But they put out all the bloopers, all the time it takes that he got it wrong. I had never seen that footage. So if you're listening to the podcast, I'd encourage you, go to Facebook, Rodney Dangerfield's page, and see the Sam Kennison bloopers. It was priceless.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, new material right there.
Just when I thought I've seen it all.
I know. That's what me and Nate say. Every time we think we bought everything, there's something new we haven't seen to buy, and it pops up. Well, who knows? I don't know. But So,
And he's been gone since '92. It's been so long. Crazy.
yeah, time flies. I know. It seems like yesterday. You heard where were you when you heard the news Sam Kennison passed away?
I was a comic book collector, so I was actually at my comic book shop at the time, and I heard it over the radio that they played. And I'm flipping through, and I'm like, it didn't even dawn on me at first. I'm like, whoa, that's weird. And I just kept flipping through the books and stuff. Then I get in my car and I hear the same news again on the thing, and I'm like, holy shit.
I was at home and I saw it on CNN, and I'm like, no, that's not real. Then I'm like racing around to try to confirm it, like CNN had put it out if it wasn't real, you know. Like, I got to confirm this. This is I wouldn't believe it. They're like, then everybody broke. I'm like, wow,
fake news.
it is real, I guess. I don't know. So
yeah,
what's
unfortunately real.
What's the comedy scene like down there in Florida? I mean, did you go to a lot of comedy shows down there, local or national, or?
There's the Improv in West Palm. I've been there a couple of times. I saw Mike Epps there once. He was pretty fucking funny.
Okay.
A couple other people I've seen. I don't remember their names, but I went because I had like free tickets. But I saw Dice in Del Rey a couple of years ago.
Really?
Yeah, my wife had surprised me with tickets for that one.
I seen him at a couple of big venues, at the Wilbur here in Boston, then out in Vegas at the Tropicana. But back in the day when he had fallen off, he was at the bottom of his career. I actually saw him at a steakhouse, the 99 Grill. He played this little place, like, when he had disappeared from the scene. And seeing him in an intimate place like that was just something as compared to like the big arenas. It was really a treat.
Yeah, that's wild. That's pretty crazy. This place he played in Del Rey was like a little theater. Yeah. It was like kind of a small theater, but it was a nice size venue for his stuff. Okay. But yeah, like those giant places he played in the '90s, like those days are gone.
Yeah, Madison Square Garden, I know. Well, he said his dream was to make a comeback and play Giant Stadium. I don't know how realistic that is, but I mean, he had me and Native looked into booking him. It's like 40 to 75 grand or some crazy amount, but I mean, are there any big name comics? You mentioned Weird Al, or what are the big names you go to see?
Yeah, well, whenever Weird Al's in town, I'll go see him. I'm a huge fan. I've been a huge fan since like 5th grade.
So I don't know. They pose this question sometimes. I mean, if you could sit on a bench with one person, who would it be? So if you could sit on a park bench with Sam Kennison for 5 minutes, what would you want to ask him?
Oh my God! Holy shit!
There's the question.
Man, that's I only have 5 minutes. You know?
Yeah, I mean, how long can you get with a dead guy? But I mean, if you've got 5 minutes to talk to him, what would you want to ask him?
I'd probably just want him to like do one of his bits or something. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, just to see him live or something.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I never got to see you live. Just do one of your bits. Do a whole bunch of them really fast.
Was it women who messed him up, or just how did he get to think like so different than every other comic? I don't know, just the anger, I guess, from bad relationships, or what it was. But
that, I'll tell you what, man, I've been through a couple of relationships it just changes your way of looking at things.
And that's why you can relate to the guy, right? Same thing with me. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like I felt the pain that he felt.
I say that the guy made me laugh when I needed to laugh, man. I know. A woman broke your heart, and you turn on some Sam Kennison tapes and you listen away. So
it's like I just want to get out of the car and run,
Yeah, right. I can't say, son of a bitch, I can't stand you.
I mean, I literally did that one time with the girlfriend.
Really?
I did. I got out of the car and I started walking. I'm like, I'm done. You're not getting out. I'm done.
Yeah, I paid child support for 22 years. Trust me, I know about bad relationship. She was laughing in my face the whole way. What I could do about it? But what are you gonna do? So I don't know. We talked about the website. We talked about your love with Sam. I mean, anything else you'd want the fans to know about Sam?
Just that he was just one of the greatest comics ever, and the world misses him. And I think that I'd love to get a take from him, like what he thinks of the world. Maybe that's what I would ask him in those 5 minutes. What do you think of this shit, dude?
Yeah. What's your take on today?
How can you fit all the things that happened in the last couple of years in 5 minutes?
Yeah. What would you say about today's bullshit that's going on as compared to the bullshit we grew up with, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, he left a generation of fans like me, you, Nate, and some other guys around. I mean, his memory lives on through us, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Sure. So I mean, other than you mentioned Bill, you must have met Sherry too, right?
Yeah. She was there that night at the eatery as well.
Okay. You met Hope. I mean, is there anybody else from the Kennison circle that you met, or?
Well, Malika and Sabrina, but not in person. I was supposed to meet Sabrina in LA when I was out there. It was that whole story is crazy because Hope had supposedly gotten me tickets for the Kiss concert, and then we were supposed to go to Tommy Lee's birthday party afterwards.
Ooh.
And that all sounded like really cool in theory. And then after a while, something happened, and it turns out a couple of years later, she told me it was like her boyfriend at the time got jealous that she was doing all this stuff for me,
see.
and something happened, and no cell phones and no way to really contact. And
I flew out to Vegas twice. I was supposed to meet Sabrina both times. I never got to. Something was always got in the way. But I mean, I have talked. I bought some old Sam Kennison shirts off of her and stuff, so that was cool. I got the jersey you wore for the MTV Celebrity Softball game. I bought that off her. So all
wow. Nice.
Yeah, I got another shirt he wore in concert. I bought off her. I talked to Malika on Facebook. I was too scared to contact her. She actually contacted me. I was like, whoa. Shit, man. I was scared to talk to her. She's talking to me. I'm like, all right, well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, who knows? All right. So all right, we talked about Sam. I'm gonna end the podcast on this. And other than Sam Kennison, I found out that you're a big Star Wars fan. We get that in common. I like Star Wars too. Big Star Wars fan?
Star Wars.
All right, I'm gonna hit with
in the theater, man.
top 4 Star Wars questions on the podcast. Character you'd most like to see in The Mandalorian next season?
In The Mandalorian. Well, let's see. Well, they mentioned Thrawn. I'd really like to see somebody be Grand Admiral Thrawn. I really want to see that happen.
Yeah, he's there. They booked the guy. I think the guy that did his voice in the cartoon. They booked him, so that's definitely going to happen. I'd love to see Mara Jade. She's such a storied character. I'd love to see her on the big screen.
Like I like that they're starting to work in some of these old characters.
Oh yeah, that's the thrill of the show. Yeah, right.
Books before, now you get to see them in live action.
Get back to your childhood. All right, number 3, Solo: A Star Wars Story. Was it a good film, or did it destroy the Han Solo character?
I liked it. I thought it was a lot of fun, and I think what's his name? Oh my God, that played Lando. I totally slipped my mind.
Oh yeah, I forget his name too, but I know you're talking about. Yeah.
Childish Gambino. Yeah, I think he did an amazing job, and I thought it was cool that they just jammed everything they could into one movie. It was almost like, you know what, guys, this is probably gonna suck, so let's just do it all. Let's put in the.
I liked the movie, but didn't do good at the box office at all.
Yeah, it didn't do well at the box office, but they didn't market it very well, and it also came out after The Last Jedi, and that got that polarized the Star Wars crowd, and then there was Star Wars fatigue. People were like, "Oh my God, another Star Wars movie!" Shit.
All right, number 2, the last trilogy they put out. Did it help or hurt the franchise?
Man, I really tried to like it. I really tried to get into it. I've probably watched each of those movies 4 or 5 times each.
Yeah.
And they're just a disjointed mess. And I see where everybody's criticizing them. And
Dave Filoni's trying to fix that now with the stuff they're putting out. They're trying to fix the movies, but.
Yeah, it's it's just that they had their chance to really end the series with 3 solid, really fucking good movies, but they almost look like they were just made by people who heard about Star Wars.
Yeah.
More than people who were actually real Star Wars fans. Like they just kind of
like a fan film rather than an actual film, right?
It's like, oh, we got all the original actors, check. The Millennium Falcon, check. Oh, we got a lightsaber, check.
Yeah, right. Well, I said they can't compete with the original trilogies, but I mean. Star Wars is like pizza. Even when it's bad, it's still pretty good. So,
exactly. I mean, it's like Rise of Skywalker. I walk out of the theater pissed. I'm like, man, they fucking took my money for that.
But it was better than no Star Wars.
Yeah, I watched it again, and I'm like, man, there's a lot of Star Wars going on in this movie. They just packed it. It's like nonstop action from beginning to end, and it's too much Star Wars, probably.
Yeah, they'll take a break. Hopefully, they get it right when they just start up the next trilogy. Who knows?
Yeah.
But all right, number 1 question, last question. Who drew first, Solo or Greedo? Solo drew first. There it is. You heard it first right here on Funny Like Clown Podcast. Rob, thank you for being on, man. I appreciate it.
You got it, man.
Long live the Kennison fan. I'll talk to you soon. And I definitely do want to get down, man. We're going to hook up down in Florida. Screaming Sam, me, you, Nate, we'll get us together.
That sounds awesome, man.
Tell them, brother. Be good.
All right. Take it easy.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, Rob Stibal right there, former Sam Kennison website creator and monitor. And man, I miss those days because he brought up the perfect point. It's like nowadays with all the Facebooks and the social media, you can discuss anything anywhere. Back then, when he first put out that website, every Kennison fan was right there, and that was the beauty of it. We're all in one place remembering Sam, and he may have passed on, but his legend's going to live forever. So long live the memory of Sam Kennison. Guys like me, Rob, and Nate, well, we're keeping it alive. This is Funny Like Clown Podcast. We're exploring the history of comedy here, folks, and what better key to keep it alive than guys like me and you, me, the guy who's bringing you the comedy, and you, the listener, who's helped keep it alive by listening to these podcasts and sharing them up. So until next time, make somebody laugh, because that's the best part of your day, when you have some fun. Bye-bye.